Hello students. Today let us start with the next chapter, larynx. Larynx is the organ of phonation, that is organ for production of voice. It is commonly known as voice box. It is also an air passage and form a part of respiratory tract. Larynx is made up of cartilages. So this is the anterior view of larynx, in which we can see thyroid cartilage and cricoid cartilage. And below, this is the beginning of trachea. And this structure constitutes the lower respiratory tract. This is the sagittal section across the larynx, in which we can see epiglottis, thyroid cartilage, and then the cricoid cartilage. So this is the extension of larynx, and this larynx, it acts as a sphincter at the inlet of lower respiratory passage. So this is the inlet area of the larynx. Nose, nasopharynx and oropharynx constitutes the upper respiratory tract, but lower respiratory tract begins from the larynx and below continue with the trachea. So this is the larynx area, this is larynx area, and this is the inlet of the larynx. It forms uppermost part of the larynx, forms uppermost part of the lower respiratory tract, and it acts as a sphincter at the beginning of lower respiratory tract. Situation and extent of larynx. Larynx lies in the anterior aspect of neck area in the median plane, extending from root of tongue which lies here. So extending from root of tongue to the trachea, this is the extent of larynx. So this whole area, it constitutes the larynx. In adult males, it lies in front of C3, C4, C5 and C6 vertebrae. But in case of females, the level of this larynx is somewhat higher. It lies at the level of C1 to C4 cervical vertebrae. In children also, the level is same as that of females, from C1 to C4 cervical vertebrae. Length of larynx. Larynx is about 44 millimeters or 4.4 centimeter in length in case of male and 36 millimeter in case of females. In males at puberty, there is rapid enlargement in the size of the larynx, especially the thyroid cartilage of the larynx, which is visible in the form of this prominent area in the midline of the neck, which is known as Adam's apple. It makes the voice of male louder and low pitched. There is almost negligible enlargement in the size of the larynx in case of females at puberty, so their voice remain high pitched. Internal diameter of larynx is about 3 millimeters at the age of 3 years, which increases at the rate of about 1 millimeter every year. And at puberty, it reaches, or at the age of 12 to 13 year, it reaches at about 12 millimeters and remain 12 millimeters throughout the adult life. Constitution of larynx. Skeletal framework of larynx is made up of cartilages. Larynx contain total 9 cartilages, out of which 3 are paired and 3 are unpaired. First of all, unpaired cartilages. First is thyroid cartilage and second is cricoid cartilage. Out of these three, two are visible in the anterior view. This is thyroid cartilage, this is cricoid cartilage. Third, unpaired cartilage is epiglottis, which is visible more clearly in the posterior view. Paired cartilages are arytenoid cartilage, present on both the sides, then corniculate cartilage, then cuneiform cartilage, which is present above the corniculate cartilage. So these are present in pair and visible in the posterior view of the larynx. First is thyroid cartilage. Thyroid cartilage is a shield-like cartilage. Shield is a large piece of metal or wood that in older times soldiers carry to protect themselves, and nowadays police use to protect themselves from angry crowd. So it is a large cartilage and its shape resembles to English letter V. It consists of right and left laminae which are placed obliquely in relation to the median plane. Each lamina is having one anterior border and posterior border. Anterior border of two laminae, these meet in the midline at an angle of about 90 degree in case of males, and in case of females this angle is larger, that is about 120 degree. Means in case of males laminae are placed more close to each other, and in case of females the distance between these two laminae, that is somewhat larger. Posterior border of laminae are placed far apart from each other. Lower part of anterior border of laminae, these fuse together and forms a prominence known as laryngeal prominence in the median plane. Upper part of this anterior border, it remain ununited and is separated by thyroid notch. So this is the thyroid notch. This is unfused part of the anterior border of two laminae placed in the upper part of thyroid cartilage. Posterior borders are free borders. They are prolonged upwards and downwards in the form of superior and inferior cornu or horns of the thyroid cartilage. Superior cornu of the thyroid cartilage, it is attached with the greater cornu of hyoid bone. So here we can see this is the hyoid bone, this is greater cornu of hyoid bone. So both superior cornu and greater cornu of the hyoid bone, these are connected with the help of lateral thyrohyoid ligament present here. Inferior cornu articulates with the cricoid cartilage with the help of cricothyroid ligament, and a joint is formed between these two structures, thyroid cartilage and cricoid cartilage, known as cricothyroid joint in this area. Inferior border of the thyroid cartilage, it is convex anteriorly and concave posteriorly. Inferior border of thyroid cartilage is connected with the cricoid cartilage with the help of cricothyroid ligament. Two cricothyroid ligaments are there. One are lateral cricothyroid ligament and one is present in the median plane, known as median cricothyroid ligament. Lateral cricothyroid ligament are also known as conus elasticus. Outer surface of each lamina, it is marked by an oblique line which extends from superior thyroid tubercle to inferior thyroid tubercle. Superior thyroid tubercle is present in front of root of the superior cornu, and inferior thyroid tubercle is present slightly behind the middle of inferior border. So slightly behind the middle of inferior border lies the inferior tubercle in this area. Attachments over the thyroid cartilage. This black line indicates the oblique line of lamina of the thyroid cartilage. It is giving attachment to thyroid, sternothyroid, and thyropharyngeus part of the inferior constrictor of the pharynx. Inferior border and lesser cornu, these are giving insertion to this triangular muscle, cricothyroid muscle. Posterior border extending between superior cornu and inferior cornu, it is giving insertion to these three muscles, palatopharyngeus, salpingopharyngeus and stylopharyngeus muscle. Next are the attachments on inner aspect of thyroid cartilage which are visible in the posterior view of the thyroid cartilage. So first structure is the median thyroepiglottic ligament. This ligament attaches the inferior part of epiglottis to the thyroid cartilage. These are the thyroepiglottic muscles, the muscles which attaches the thyroid cartilage to the epiglottis. Then next are the vestibular folds or vestibular ligaments which are present on both sides of the median plane. Then vocal ligaments or vocal folds are also attached on both sides of the median plane on the thyroid cartilage. Vocal fold and vestibular fold, both these folds or ligaments extends from the arytenoid cartilage and are attached to the thyroid cartilage. Lateral to vocal folds, two muscles are present, thyroarytenoid muscle and the vocalis muscle. Next is cricoid cartilage. It is a ring-shaped cartilage and a complete cartilage present in anterior aspect also and posterior aspect also. So it encircles the whole larynx below the thyroid cartilage. It is also known as foundation stone of the larynx. It is thicker and more stronger than the thyroid cartilage. This ring-shaped structure, it is having anterior narrow part known as arch and posterior broader part known as lamina. Lamina of the cricoid cartilage, it projects upwards behind the thyroid cartilage in its upper portion and articulates with the arytenoid cartilage. So here we can see arytenoid cartilage that is attached to the upper part of the lamina of the cricoid cartilage, and both these structures, posterior part of lamina and the arytenoid cartilage, these are present towards the posterior aspect of the larynx and so clearly visible in the posterior view of the larynx. Inferior cornu of the thyroid cartilage, it articulates with the lamina of the cricoid cartilage. Attachments on the cricoid cartilage. Anterior part of arch of the cricoid cartilage give origin to triangular muscle known as cricothyroid muscle. This muscle is having action over the vocal cords. It is responsible for creating tension in the vocal cord or causing the vocal cord stiff. Anterolateral aspect of this cricoid cartilage, it is giving origin to a muscle, lateral cricoarytenoid muscle, arising from this cricoid cartilage. That muscle run backwards and insert on arytenoid cartilage which is present behind on the upper margin of the lamina of cricoid cartilage. Lamina of the cricoid cartilage on its outer aspect give origin to a important muscle, posterior cricoarytenoid muscle present between the arytenoid cartilage and the cricoid cartilage. So this is posterior cricoarytenoid muscle. It is also known as safety muscle. Cricothyroid and quadrate membranes are also attached to the cricoid cartilage. Cricothyroid membrane is present between the cricoid cartilage below, epiglottis in front, and posteriorly arytenoid cartilage. And quadrate membrane is present between the epiglottis and the arytenoid cartilage. Next comes to epiglottis or epiglottic cartilage. Epiglottis is a leaf-shaped cartilage present in anterior aspect of upper part of the larynx. Upper end of thyroid cartilage is broader and free and it projects behind the hyoid bone. So here we can see hyoid bone. It also projects upwards behind the tongue and is also attached to the root of the tongue. Lower end is narrow and is attached to the thyroid cartilage with the help of thyroepiglottic ligament. So the attachment of this lower end lies at the upper part of the thyroid cartilage that is present between the junction of two laminae posteriorly, or angle formed by two laminae posteriorly. Right and left two margins of the laminae, these provide attachment to the aryepiglottic fold. Aryepiglottic fold is a fold of mucous membrane extending between the arytenoid cartilage and the lateral borders of the epiglottis. To the tongue, this epiglottis is attached to median and to lateral glossoepiglottic folds. This is posterior most part of tongue, that is root of the tongue, and this is attached to the epiglottis with the help of these three ligaments. And to the hyoid bone, the anterior surface of the epiglottis is attached with the help of hyoepiglottic ligament. Posterior surface of the epiglottis, it is covered by mucous membrane and shows a tubercle in the median plane. Thyroepiglottic muscle is present between the lateral margin of the epiglottis and the thyroid cartilage. This muscle keeps the inlet of the larynx patent for breathing. Second muscle is aryepiglottic muscle extending from arytenoid cartilage to the epiglottis. So aryepiglottic muscle closes the inlet of larynx during swallowing. Next comes to paired cartilages. First cartilage is arytenoid cartilage. Arytenoid cartilages are a pair of small pyramidal shaped cartilages present on the upper border of lamina of the cricoid cartilage. So these are the two arytenoid cartilages present towards the posterior aspect of larynx. This is the sagittal section of the larynx in which arytenoid cartilage is more clearly visible and the parts of it are more clearly seen. It is having an apex and a base. Apex is curved posteromedially. It is curved posteromedially and articulates with the corniculate cartilage which is present above it. And its base is concave and it articulates with the lateral part of upper border of the cricoid lamina. This concave base, it extends anteriorly to forms the vocal process, and lateral extension of it is known as muscular process. Arytenoid cartilage is having three surfaces. This surface is medial surface. Posteriorly present surface is the posterior surface, and the surface which is not visible here, that is the anterolateral surface that is present towards the lateral aspect. And this muscular process, it is the extension towards the lateral aspect. It is the extension of base towards the lateral aspect. In this diagram also we can find out this pyramidal shaped structure is the retinoid cartilage. It is having one apex, concave base, three surfaces. Medial surface, it is shown with dotted lines. It is present towards the other side, and this surface is the anterolateral surface, and this is posteriorly placed surface, that is the posterior surface. So base towards the lateral side, it forms an extension known as muscular process, and base on its anterior aspect shows another extension known as vocal process. Attachments of arytenoid cartilage. Vocal process of the arytenoid cartilage, which is present in this area, it gave attachment to the vocal fold or vocal ligament, and above the vocal process there is attachment of the vestibular fold. Muscular process, in its anterior aspect, it gave insertion to lateral cricoarytenoid muscle, and its posterior part gave insertion to the cricoarytenoid muscle, which is a large muscle visible in this area. Attachment on the posterior surface of arytenoid cartilage. So this is the area of the arytenoid cartilage. One cartilage is present here, another is present here, and this is the area of the cricoid cartilage. So posterior surface of arytenoid cartilage, it is giving attachment to transverse arytenoid muscle. So the muscle fibers which are visible here, which are running in the transverse manner, that is known as the transverse arytenoid muscle, attaching over posterior surface of both the arytenoid cartilages. Next is oblique arytenoid muscle. So the muscles which are visible here running in oblique manner, that are known as oblique arytenoid muscles. Origin of one muscle lies in the muscular process towards the base of one arytenoid cartilage, and its insertion lies at the apex of another arytenoid cartilage. In the same manner, other muscle arises from muscular process of one arytenoid cartilage and insert in the apex of the other arytenoid cartilage, so forming a cross-like structure and runs in the oblique manner. This muscle then continue upwards in the form of aryepiglottic muscle between arytenoid process and the epiglottis. The muscle fibers of this muscle, oblique muscle, it continue in the form of aryepiglottic muscle. Quadrate membrane is also attached on the arytenoid cartilage, and its other attachments are on the epiglottis and the thyroid cartilage. Next is corniculate cartilage. Corniculate cartilage are two in number. These are a pair of small conical shaped nodules which articulate with the apex of the arytenoid cartilage and are directed posteromedially. It lies in posterior part of aryepiglottic fold. So this is aryepiglottic fold, and here we can see two tubercles. This posterior tubercle is formed by corniculate cartilage, and it is also known as corniculate tubercle. Next are cuneiform cartilage. Cuneiform cartilage are very small, two rod-like processes present just superior to corniculate cartilage. These are also present in aryepiglottic fold just anterior to the corniculate tubercle, and all these also form a tubercle in this aryepiglottic fold.